Hey everyone, I'm your host Paul. This is in-game content, and this is another episode we bring you all the gaming news going on in the world each and every week. It's almost like I've done this before. Hello everyone and welcome to in-game content. I'm your host Paul, and this is our third episode of the show. We basically talk about everything going on in the gaming world each and every week. And kicking off this week of news, we're going to talk about is Konami is trying desperately to make you buy the upcoming Metal Gear title, Ground Zero. They even went as far as to knock off $10 off the price for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 version, making all versions $30 now. They even added a DLC that will tie in exclusively to Phantom Pains called the Mother Base, which is seen to be a pretty big deal in the Phantom Pains game. And they even added an app. The app comes with a map that's accessible with it, along with you able to call airstrikes and artillery, and you can even access cassette tapes through your phone, which basically will be interactive and all that good stuff. But it definitely seems like Konami is trying to pull out all the stops so you'll be able to get their next upcoming title. Now we're going to talk about some sad time news, as it turns out like places like THQ going out of business, Irrational Games shrinking in size to the point you can't even call them Irrational Games anymore. It seems like Santa Monica Studios is no exemption of this. Apparently they had to have some layoffs due to some problem areas within the studio. Sony Computer Entertainment of America recently announced this problem being confirmed, as it turned out that they had like a realignment of sorts where they had to focus certain problems into certain problem areas within Sony Computer Entertainment Worldwide Studios, which caused them to have layoffs. Now the people that were laid off have been switched to certain operation studios where they're able to kind of get jobs back, and they also been given service packages, which is basically easing the pain of being laid off, which can be a problematic problem for most people. But if you had to ask me, I think the reason people were laid off had a lot to do with Santa Monica's last big title, God of War Ascension, bombing with the God of War audience. Because if you think about it, look at THQ and look at Irrational Games. THQ had a lot of titles that was bombing to the point they had to close down. And Irrational Games, they poured so much money into BioShock Infinite that when they finally put the game out, they did not get the money back they were hoping to get back from making the title. So if you had to ask me, my money's on the fact that God of War Ascension did not really sell the way they wanted it to sell, which, hint, is why they had to lay off people. But that's just my opinion. I'm just a lonely journalist trying to get the story. Now let's move on to some happy news, and maybe some happy news for PlayStation players, as there's an upcoming lineup this March for PlayStation Plus. Now what's in that lineup, you may ask? Well, for PlayStation 4 owners, you may be happy to know that you get some more use out your PlayStation 4, as Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition will be available for free, and that's being brought to you by the makers of Resogun. So if you love Resogun, give this game a try. You might love it just as much as Rezo. For the PlayStation 3 owners, you got 3 free games coming out. The first one being 2013's Tomb Raider, which was an awesome game, which I know many of you will be happy to play if you couldn't afford it when it was priced, because it will be free to PlayStation Plus members, along with The Lone Survivor and Thomas is Alone. Those 3 games is going to be unique in their own way, but I know everyone's really looking forward to Tomb Raider, as it was such a great game and so many people talked about it. Well, now here's your chance to play it for free. And I haven't forgot about my Vita players now, because
16 of us.
It's not 16 of us, okay? There's thousands over in Japan. Thousands, okay? And for those thousands over in Japan, and for those thousands here in the United States, and the thousands all around the world, you have Unit 13 and Monster Hunter Freedom Unite free for PlayStation Vita. So I know if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you must be excited to know you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck this upcoming March. 16 of us. And for our last bit of news, it turns out that Xbox One may be getting a price cut. Whoa, chill out, Prairie Dog. It's not as good as it may sound. Apparently, this price cut will only be available to the UK. But hey, that doesn't leave the US out in the dark. Apparently, we may be able to get a free copy of Titanfall for the price of an Xbox One. It is kind of calling a special bundle, and that will be available worldwide. In the special bundle, you can get an Xbox One console, a Kinect sensor, a wireless controller with an HDMI cord, 1 free month of Xbox Live, and a already downloaded copy of Titanfall. This is a bundle that will be available for $499.99. So you're definitely getting a great deal with that one. And it seems like Xbox One is definitely trying to sell Xbox Ones. And for the UK price cut, it turns out that will go from £430 to £400, or if you want to be more exact, £399.99 sterling. And if you equal that and do your little Google search on that to US currency, it will be a total of $667.58. So for all the ones who may be complaining about $500 is too much for an Xbox One, try to live over in the UK and I guarantee you $500 is gonna look like a great deal for an Xbox One. And now we come to that part of the show where we give you some video recommendations so you can watch some videos after you're done watching our video. I know I've said that a million times, but that's kind of how you do it. Our first video is the Walking Dead Season 2 Episode 2 trailer where we get to see Clementine as she's trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. Our next video is the Godzilla trailer. The Godzilla trailers basically may hint that we may see 1 or 2 extra monsters in the Godzilla trailer along with Godzilla himself. And at the end of this trailer, it gives you a great look at what Godzilla is going to look like, and I have to say it definitely makes him look more realistic than ever before. And our last video for you to check out is the DLC to Arkham Origins, which seems like it's going to be Mr. Freeze center heavy. So check these 3 trailers out, and you can check these trailers out along with everything we talked about today in the links down below. They're down there. They're just down there. Go check them out. And that does it for all the things we have to talk about here at In-Game Content. I'm your host, Paul, and if you loved our show, go down and like and subscribe because it's always awesome when you do that. And why don't you go over and like us on Facebook at Secret Hero Nerds. You can check it out on our group Facebook page. Go like it. Check out all the new stuff we may have not talked about today that we will talk about on that Facebook site. And again, I'm your host, Paul. Hope you love the show. And why don't you check out some of our other videos so you can be more informed about the gaming world and find out some stuff you may have not even known about. And I will see you next week.